All right, folks, Les Scamo here. It's been a good while, and feels to be back on here. I've got a serious lighting tonight. I hope my volume's okay. Comments is open, and but it has been so long since I have been live. Let's see what. But anyway, it feels good. And I'm Les Scamo of Unscheduled with Les Scamo and the Dave and the Jeremy. I've got a serious subject here tonight. And I just want to pass this on, maybe save somebody a lot of money and a lot of headache. Don't mind all the junk behind me back there. Folks, this is an automotive video tonight. I purchased in 2006 Dodge Dakota. And I know some of you said, man, I'm sorry. Okay, here's the deal. But anyway, I mean, squirrel. But I purchased me a 2006 Dakota, four-wheel drive. And it's got some rust on it, but it's still a pretty solid vehicle. And so when I bought this truck, I knew the guy wasn't telling me the whole story, okay? You know, when somebody tries to oversell you, you can smell a rat pretty quick. So I bought it anyway, and let's do it. So I bought it anyway, okay? And the reason that I did, and I kind of felt like the Lord give me a good whipping over it. That's a long story. However, I believe that I'm going to reap the benefits of this because of His love and mercy. But anyway, this is 131,000 miles. He had the engine and the transmission rebuilt. And I've got the paperwork here. I just want to show you how much it cost. And it's got like only about, I should have done the mileage, figured it up, but I didn't. At 131,000 miles, he had Woodman Automotive rebuild the engine on it. And that cost a whopping, look at that, folks. Whoop. Can you see that? Look. Hold on. It's a little blurry. Why is that blurry? Let me back it up here. Trying to focus that thing. Okay, that's what it cost right there. Here's everything they done. Okay. Hope you can read that. And there's who done it. They're still in business, I suppose. And I didn't mean to show the guy's address where I bought it, but I did. $6,979.70 to rebuild the engine. Now, back to back, he rebuilt these, had these rebuilt. There's like 7,000 miles, if I'm not mistaken, about 7,000 miles on the transmission and motor right now. Let's see here. I'm going to ramble a little bit because it's been a while, so give me a break, man. What are the dates on this at? And my eyes are tired. Oh, okay. In 2020 is when he had these rebuilt. And he never hardly ever drove the truck. He spent a fortune on this thing. And here is the transmission. The bill on the transmission. And that was the total bill on that transmission was $3,157.79. I'll cover it up, but you see that right there? Is that blurry? Okay, this is the receipt that was stapled to the original copy. You can see it right here. And right down there is 2,000 something. What am I at? 2,000 something right here. But he had some additional stuff on it. So it was over $3,000. That's everything that they done. And that was from AAA on Wilmington Pike here in Ohio. So there's let's round this 6,000. Let's say 7,000, 8, 9. There's $10,000. This guy wrapped up in this truck, man, and like 7,000 miles on it. Okay, and then he up and sells it. I've got the receipts on the tires. It's got oversized all-terrain tires on it. That was 800 and something bucks. I've got a folder full of receipts. Now, like I said, the guy, a very good guy, but he wasn't totally honest with me. And here's what I'm getting at, folks. If you drive a Chrysler product, Dodge, Plymouth, this is around I don't know if they're all like that. This is like I said, mine's 2006. I knew the engine light was on when I bought it and drove it home. Okay. And there's a short in the airbag light. Now I put a new watch clock spring in there, and that goes under the steering wheel, and it's not a very complicated thing, but the airbag goes through that, your radio control. All your controls on your steering wheel goes through this clock spring. It's a plastic round thing, goes over there. Look it up, you'll see it. So I had some codes come up on that thing. Okay, like I said, he told me, okay, he knew what the codes was because he had the engine light reset. And he told me that, well, when I had it rebuilt, I had a special torque converter put in there, and it takes off a little sooner than a regular torque converter. I'm a mechanic. I'm not a transmission mechanic, but my first love was auto mechanics. I can rebuild engines. I can take a car completely apart, except the transmission. I never did get into that. Even standard transmissions, I can do them. However, I'm not an automatic transmission man, but I know when one's good and I know when one's bad. So I knew he was lying to me about that. And I took it on a test drive, and man, it was roaring like a lion. The front end, whoa, 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 way more than tire noise. Okay, so I knew it probably needed front axle bearings, and I knew it needed CV axles in the front. So, and he told me, oh, that's all tire noise, blah, blah, blah. I knew better. But I bought it anyway because new transmission, new engine, it's sucking me in, see? And I figured, okay, I paid the guy $4,500. He wanted $5,000. I paid him $4,500. Now I'm gonna get to I got two main points I want for you truck guys, especially on this particular vehicle. When I bought it, it run like a top. It shifted like money, and everything was cool. He's got a big loud muffler on it. I hate that sucker. It's going next. Okay, number one, he had a 2-inch lift kit all the way around on it. Folks, I don't know about anything else, but I can tell you about this. On a 06 Dodge Dakota, and that probably apply to most or all of your Dodge Dakotas, I recommend not putting a 2-inch lift kit on that vehicle. That never did make no sense to me, number one. I'm pretty short. I'm only like 5'8", 5'9". So it's hard enough for me to get into my wife's Ford Edge, okay? I never did understand jacking one up so high you need a ladder to get in it. Once them axles hit the mud and the debris, you're done. The only thing you're going to do to help you in snow or mud is put huge tires on it. That's the only thing that will lift those axles up a couple more inches. Jacking that body 4 foot up off of the tires, to me, now this is me, it makes no sense at all. It's a huge waste of money. And, I don't want to have to climb a tree and jump out of a tree into the truck. You know what I mean? So, not only that, okay, it had 2-inch blocks underneath the rear end and the back. I took them 2-inch blocks out, put regular U-bolts on it, back factory. Okay, I had to remove the whole spring and shock apparatus in the front to get the donuts, 2-inch donut rings out from under the shock tower in the front. Now, when he put those 2-inch lift kit in the front, I put them CV joints on such a ridiculous angle. Yes, just 2 inches made a huge difference, and it was a bad mistake. Both of those boots on those front axles at a high speed, 50, and probably 50, anything over 50, would egg shape those boots, and they were slapping the spring. Okay, they were slapping the springs, and it tore both boots wide open. Grease everywhere. And but they was wore out anyway. They was making a awful noise, and I knew what it was. It was that and the wheel bearings. That and or the wheel bearings. So don't put this big high lift on your Dodge Dakota. It's a waste, and it will definitely tear up the boots on your front axles. Now, if you've done that and you got away with it and everything works hunky-dory, well, good for you. I'm glad for you. And if that's the way you like it, then that's fine. But I'm just telling you the drawback that I run into when I was taking all this crap off so I'd have a regular four-wheel drive Dodge Dakota 3.7. Now there's another thing. On my way home, that engine light come on. Okay, and so it wasn't on when I left. The airbag was. Excuse me. He made that comment over that torque converter because he knew that engine light was going to pop on in just a few miles. And sure enough, it did. I was rolling the dice with this. But like I said, I had the paperwork on the engine and transmission. Okay. And now, this is going to be a little long, a little talky, but this is stuff you need to know. Point number 2. I believe it was a P0456. I lost the paper that I had these codes wrote on. I had to go back and redo them. Okay, P0456. I believe I'm right about that code. It was the emissions. And I run that code, and it said that I had a evaporator large leak in my emission system. I think that's how it was, a large leak in my emission system. And what popped up with that code, now this is very important, what popped up with that code was a P0700. P0700. That is linked to your transmission. Okay. Now, I was going to try to do this outside earlier today, but I don't have enough followers and all that jazz to do it on my phone. So, that P0700 code, okay, is linked to your shift solenoid in your transmission. Okay, and it's like this. When you go into the code, you read the code, it will say it will say clutch converter solenoid open. Clutch converter solenoid open. No, clutch converter clutch converter, not solenoid, clutch converter circuit. Clutch converter circuit open. Okay, so here I go. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm freaking a little bit now. Starting to freak out a little bit. Okay, by this time, well, I went ahead and I took the lifts out. I put axle bearings in the front. I put CV axles in the front. Okay. The guy had all new ball joints, all new steering mechanisms, outer tie rod ends. This guy spent a fortune on this truck. Upper and lower ball joints was new. Well, they was just a couple years old. And I mean, and you could look at them and tell, okay, they was blue instead of black. So they told me that wasn't the factory boots on them, on the ball joints and the tie rod ends. And okay, so he spent a fortune on all that stuff. Okay, so I put the axles in the front, I put the axle bearings in the front, torqued all that down, took the lift blocks out of it, I took it to a shop, and a friend of mine, I had him put rear axle bearings in it. So I had to take the axles out and the old bearings, because I don't know if he did that or not. He said he didn't. So I had to take his word on that. So I went and spent $900, and I had new axle bearings put in the back of it. So here we go. I'm starting to spend a fortune on this truck. Okay. New motor, new transmission. All right, now what I'm getting at, folks, these two codes come up. I'm like, man, what do I do? I should have started with a new gas cap first. Where my odometer numbers are, it's digital. Where the odometer numbers are, it come up gas cap. And remember, the code said I had a large emission leak. Okay, that code will also come up if a charcoal canister stopped up, or if there's other problems in your emission system, that code will come up. It said large emissions leak. Okay, where I messed up is I should have put a gas cap on it first. But what did I do? I've done all the research on YouTube I could do. All right. I ordered from Amazon an OEM part, a Dodge part. It's a pretty big solenoid, like that. I changed that shift solenoid in that transmission. Pretty big job, but you could do it. I didn't even have to jack the truck up. Drained the transmission fluid, dropped the valve body, took the old solenoid out, put the new solenoid in, torqued it down, put the valve body back in, hooked up my linkage, torqued everything down, put my pan back on, filled up with fluid. Now, mind you, this thing run like $1 million and downshifted the overdrive work before even done this. So did I replace a bad part? I really don't think I did. I don't think that part was defective at all. But I changed it anyway because I'm freaking. Okay, because I'm thinking this transmission may have to come out to put a torque converter in it. So I get my papers out again on that transmission rebuild. And on that paper, it charged him for a reconditioned torque converter. And then my next question was, okay, did he change that sensor? That was my next question in my mind, because everybody that owns a box of tools is not a mechanic. Everybody that owns a box of tools is not a transmission specialist. There's all kinds of shortcuts that you can do if you're a no good mechanic. Let me put it to you that way. Okay, there's all kinds of shortcuts you can take, rebuilding the engine and rebuilding the transmission. So my next question was, did this guy put that sensor? Did he change that sensor on that valve body? Or is that the original one? Not knowing this, my next logical step was to order one, $199, OEM Dodge part. I got it, I put it in there, put everything back together, and it run just as good as it ever did. Shifted good, great. When I took the pan down, there was nothing unusual in the pan. There's nothing, it looked great, okay. And like I said, about 7,000 miles on the motor and transmission. Did he quit driving it because this code come up? There are so many unanswered questions. But like I said, what's drawing me, new motor, new transmission. I want to reap the benefits of that, and I just pray these guys didn't do no shortcuts on them. Here's what happened. Here's what actually happened, folks. I'm wondering, okay, I put that sensor in there. I had an old gas cap and some junk that he gave me, some extra stuff. Put the old gas cap, took the old gas cap off, put another old gas cap on it. I've already changed the shift sensor. Driving down the road, and not too long, 10, maybe 7, 8 miles, boing, here come that engine light again. I'm like, crap. So I get back home, I get my scan tool, plug it in, P0456, P0700. Gosh, man, what's going on here? For sure, there's nothing going on with that transmission. So I went on Google, and I Googled what sensors in a transmission will trigger a P0700 code. And there's only one sensor on that, on or in that transmission that will trigger that, and that's that solenoid, shift solenoid I put in there. That's it, according to Google. And they had a video on there. Now, my suspicion got to be, can that P0700 piggyback on another code and there really be nothing wrong? Because I'm looking at the situation, I'm like, man, here's a new transmission practically, 7,000 miles. 4-wheel drive, they're going to charge me a fortune to drop that transmission and put a torque motor in it. And what if that ain't it? So, I'm in my mind, I'm really nervous about this. Because I've already spent, I'm hooked. I've already spent all this money. I can't stop now. I love the truck. And like I said, it runs like a top, shifts like a dream. But this code kept coming up. So on that Google, when I Googled that about those sensors, they said, here's a video that might help you out. And see, I took it back to the transmission shop. This is how I know for a fact the paperwork was authentic on the transmission. So I called the guy. I took it back up there to that guy that rebuilt the transmission at AAA. Oh, okay, I'll get to it. I think we'll put a sensor in it and blah, blah, blah. We'll go from there. That truck sat up there almost 3 weeks. Okay. And I went back, I got it and brought it back home and said, heck with it, I'll do it myself. That's exactly what I did. It's more, there's a whole lot more to it than that. I'll probably do a second video about this because it wasn't that simple, folks. Okay, well, you can't hardly get your hands up in there to unplug things and do stuff. I'll probably do another video on it because I want to help people out. I want to save somebody a bunch of money and anguish. Google said, here's your video, might help you out. After I Googled what other sensors can cause this. And only that one, that shift solenoid. And here's a little video. I watched this video. This guy, I don't know who he was. You might can find it on YouTube. I don't remember if it's a YouTube video, probably, maybe, I don't know. But this guy sure knew what he was talking about. He said that P0700 code, he said, if you have If that code comes up with other problems that you're having, he said that code will piggyback on other codes. And it's false reading. He said that he didn't name a bunch of them, but he said even if you have a temperature sensor go bad on a Dodge, Plymouth, Chrysler, I know on my Dakota, but I don't have a bad heat sensor. He said if your temperature sensor goes bad and the code comes up for that temperature sensor, P0700 will come up with that. All the time you'll have them same two codes. And other things that code will piggyback on too. And it doesn't mean you have a bad computer. That's the nature of this beast. And you can spend thousands of dollars trying to get rid of that P0700 code thinking that your torque converter is going to go out. But that's the result of it, according to my research, and it'll shimmy. I had a Chevy do that on me one time. It's a torque converter. So I'm experienced with that. This P0700 code will piggyback, and it piggybacked on my P0456, large leak in my emission system. And remember, right in my odometer gas cap, the numbers went away and it said gas cap. Folks, my hand to God. I went to AutoZone. I bought me a $15 gas cap, took it home. After doing all this work, I took that home. I took the battery cables off, reset them codes, put that gas cap on there, and guess what? Both of them codes went away. That P0700 code went away. P0456 code went away. So I'm driving down the road. We drove about 20 miles. No, wasn't that? Yeah, about 20 miles. Went to shopping for some stuff, took the truck. Almost got home. Bing! Here come that light. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is driving me nuts. But I no longer have a fear that my torque converter is going to go out or I'm going to have any transmission damage. But man, I sure did not want to see that P0700 code come up. Got home, hooked my code thing, reader back up to get the codes. And I got a P0430. Okay. The other codes never come up. The P0700 never come up. And the P0456, the large leak in the emission system, never come up. O2 sensor. I changed the downstream O2 sensor on bank to the passenger side. Driving around, think I got it. Bing! Here comes the light. Oh my gosh. And it's got a little catalytic converter on each side. Upstream O2 sensor and downstream on each side. So I put Bosch sensors in the passenger side, upstream and downstream. And my light ain't come back on yet. So, and I haven't drove it that far yet. But as of now, I have no codes. I know I went a long way about this, folks. And this is longer than 34 minutes. Hard to get people to watch a long video like this. If you have a P0700 code come up, if it's alone, if it comes up alone, you may have big problems. But if it comes up with another code, start with the other code first. Okay. Start with the other code first, because more than likely it's going to be a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot less work. Okay. Fix that other code first. And if you get an large leak in your emission system, change your gas can. Go buy a new gas can. If you get them two with them come up together, P0700 with a large leak in your emission system, go buy you a gas can. Took care of mine. So after all this money that I spent, I ain't come close to spending the money that the guy I bought it off of spent. So I think, I'm pretty sure in the end I'm going to have a really dandy truck. Okay, so, but I wanted a four-wheel drive truck, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, 7,000 miles on a rebuilt motor and transmission. And the other stuff I spent the money on, it appears as of now that's money well spent. So folks, number one, don't put a lift kit on your Dodge Dakota. That's my recommendation. It tears the front boots up on your axles. Number two, if you have a P0700 code, come up with another code. Take care of the other code first. You just might save yourself a whole lot of anguish, headache, and money. Take care of the other code first, and hopefully the 700 code will go away with the other code, and voila, you don't have no transmission problem. Okay, folks, I think I'll do a follow-up on all the work that I had to do. It was a bear, because it wasn't a piece of cake, and it's simply because I did not want to lower that transmission to get my hands up in there. I had to fall back on my shade tree mechanics, but I got it right. I love you. God bless you. Any questions or comments, put them on here. If you disagree with me, put it on there. If you got anything else that may help me, please put it on there. Any questions, like I said, put them on there. I'll get to them eventually. All right, this is Les Scamo. I love you. God bless you. And good night. Jesus loves you, folks.